Welcome to Full Fashion Finish Strong Friday. As always, I'm excited to get a chance to talk to you, and this week especially because I think this is one of those topics where a lot of people don't always acknowledge its importance, but when you stop to reflect on things that happen in your life, you always know that there's something to be thankful for. So this week's session is the power of thanks. What are you grateful for today? Now, I know that many of you have had a rough week, and some of you have had a successful week. And sometimes a successful week is a rough week, doing all the things you have to do to be successful, particularly in the business of sales. But I tell you, this week has been especially good for me only because I've been able to watch other people develop and grow and do things that they thought they couldn't do before. But the first thing I'm grateful for is the support that many of you have given me. As some of you follow me on my daily sales crumbs, which if you don't, go to my website at www.brandonlclay.com and you can start receiving daily sales crumbs from me that give you inspiration and instruction on sales and life mastery. But this particular week, I was actually on Amazon.com giving away one of the first books I'd ever written back in 1996, which was actually called The 10 Power Principles of Success. Now, in its contemporary format, I call it You Change Now. And it was available free on Amazon for about 4 days last week. But let me tell you some stunning results. It was actually as high as number 2 in the motivational self-help category. And while that sounds like, okay, Brandon, you're number 2, it's literally out of tens of thousands of books. And actually at its highest ranking, it was ranked number 74 out of all of nonfiction, out of roughly 40,000 books. And then in terms of all books available in the Kindle space, it ranked number 340 out of 70,000 books. And I appreciate those of you that downloaded it. And I'll tell you something that I'm grateful for. Number one, I didn't make a dime from any of those books that were downloaded, but I'm rich in experience. I've gotten emails from people in Singapore, Pennsylvania, Australia, and Amazon doesn't tell you who actually downloads it. They just show you dots of the geography, and there are dots all over this world. So it's rich in experience for me. Thousands of people around the world have a little bit of Brandon going around in their iPads and in their Kindles. Again, I'm grateful. But I'd actually enlisted the help of something called the Book Whisperer to be able to create a larger platform. And he taught me some things that I'd never known before. And I did some things that I'd never done before. Sound familiar to some of you? But now I'm closer to my goal of understanding how to become scalable, global, worldwide author, and ultimately a New York Times bestseller. And yes, I just put my goal out there. But additionally, we were able to do some things this week with some agents that I've had the great honor of working with, and I know some of them fairly well. And they were the top 10 producers for an agency for a top Fortune 100 company. And these 10 people are an amazing group of folks. One was actually number 3 nationally for the company outright. One of them was my staying power inspiration. Remember the person that had written $200,000 as a goal and didn't know how she was going to do it, but ended up doing it last year? There were others that in less than 3 years in sales, literally going from newbie to where they are today, are 6-figure earners. All of them were portfolio trusted advisors who are giving the sales profession a better reputation. They're helping people. But they're also all part of a special agency out of South Carolina who is doing some very dynamic things in terms of growth, in terms of ambition, and I applaud and celebrate them. And literally, I'm grateful for anyone's success because, as I always say, don't hate, celebrate. Because the fact that someone else can do something and the fact that someone else can rise above the challenges and the trials and temptations and tests that we all go through and still succeed should be a marker, a testimony, a roadmap for us to do the same thing. So much like the romper room lady, I'm seeing these people right now in my mind. I appreciate you, I applaud you, and I celebrate you. But I want to celebrate your week. And I know again that many of you have had some of your own struggles, some of your own things that you're trying to learn and that you're trying to develop in your businesses, and some rejections, objections, and some closes and some non-closes, and some weeks where some of you haven't done any of the things you wanted to do. But I still tell you that one of the most powerful things you can do is stop and have a moment of gratitude. So I celebrate your success and the things that went your way this week. But I also celebrate how you dealt with the challenges and believe that they will provide you with new opportunity and a chance to learn and evolve. But also, I want to wish a happy birthday to my sister Donna and her husband Edward, my brother. And no, he's not really my brother. Yes, that would be weird, but he is my brother. But even if your week had some good elements or some bad elements, it's what we used to say, it's all good. And if you can celebrate everything that you did this week, then you'll begin to see yourself going higher and higher, step by step. So what is the power of gratitude? Now, Brian Tracy, a well-known sales trainer and author, says develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step toward achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. And Brian says it perfectly. So again, I know that not everything went perfect, and I'm not looking for you to become an eternal optimist like me and to be somewhat of a Pollyanna and always think that the glass is half full, that the sky is blue when the sky may be falling. But I'm asking you to think introspectively for a moment and understand, number one, that it could be worse. That for every circumstance and situation you face that was less than ideal, someone is facing something a lot worse. And even as I've got people in my family and in my life who are dealing with everything from health crisis to losing a home to their jobs of being unemployed, I understand that at every moment things could be worse. And while a platform of gratitude isn't always a place to be just because you're seeing someone in a lesser position, sometimes gratitude is what opens the door to new opportunities and new pathways. And I have a way that I like to express it, that gratitude is actually the first seed of wealth. Gratitude will open your heart and your mind to giving. And giving, sowing, is the catalyst to receiving, reaping. And receiving is the fluid process that builds wealth. As it relates to financial success, affluence and currency, money, are actually both root words, which means to flow. What comes out of that wall when you plug in the socket? Current, electricity. That means to flow with power. Current, currency. Affluence, what we usually use synonymously for wealth, comes from the word affluere, which means to flow. So how does affluence come? Money has to flow, which means it comes into your hand, you give gratitude, you give, it flows, and then it comes back to you threefold. That's what happens when you do direct mail. Money comes in, revenue, you give thanks for it, you give it back out to a marketing company, to a direct mail company. That goes out, it feeds the families of those folks that do the work for you. But then the leads flow back in your life to allow you to have a compound effect of revenue to receive. So recognize that the process of obtaining wealth and success in sales and otherwise emanate from gratitude. Give thanks for your current opportunity. And don't be one of those that complains and grovels at the water cooler with the naysayers and those that are negative Nellies who have no idea where their next opportunity is going to come from. With that state of mind, they're not going to draw it to them. So what I always like to say, particularly in the case of negativity, that in the power of gratitude, you cannot get a blessing from something you are cursing. The Bible specifically says you can't have sweet water and bitter coming out of the same fountain. So what's got to come out of your mouth has to be consistent toward what you want to come back into your life. And gratitude sets the stage for controlling your mind and your tongue to speak those things that are consistent, that are congruent with the things you desire. So what about the power of gratitude? As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter the words, but to live by them. John F. Kennedy. You know, there was an expression that my mom used to use all the time, and some of us used to use it. It's a little bit of a colloquialism, but it was simply, do you feel me? When you begin to give thanks to someone, they should be able to feel you. They should be able to know in earnest that you are being honest, sincere, and authentic. But even in this day-to-day, no matter how your week went, I would ask you to pay forward. Let people feel you with their gratitude. Give a 20% tip tonight at dinner. Tip the valet. Do something special for someone. Call someone that you haven't talked to in a while, just simply to say hello. And then as the natural conversation progresses, tell them thank you for being in your life, and that they've had an impact on you. I know it sounds cheesy, but when you do it, believe me, you're gonna feel better about it. I challenge all of us today to make that one phone call. But then in the power of gratitude, here's another quote. Whatever our individual troubles and challenges may be, it's important to pause every now and then to appreciate all that we have on every level. We need to literally count our blessings, give thanks for them, allow ourselves to enjoy them, and relish the experience of prosperity we already have. I know there's a lot of people chasing prosperity, chasing wealth, chasing sales and opportunity. And believe me, I'm right there with you. I'm a capitalist at heart, but I'm an altruistic giver as well. I'm a tither, a 10%er, actually greater than 10%. And I'm not challenging you by any way, by way of religion or otherwise, because certainly now, as Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and Zuckerberg and others have made the pledge of giving away the vast majority of their great wealth, there are great philanthropists that are doing great things with the money they get. But I'm asking you now, at the level of prosperity you're enjoying in this moment, today, that you would give thanks. So what are you grateful for? Today, in this full fashion Finish Strong Friday, I would challenge you, like James Ingrams back in the day, to find 100 ways. And that for everything you find that you could be grateful for, to put $1 on the table. And then at the end of your list, when you realize that that stack of dollar bills has reached 100 and that you could actually go on further and further, that you do something good for yourself today with that $100. Or better yet, give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away now. Yeah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, love them. But in the sense of gratitude, if you simply sit down and count all the things you have to be grateful for, then I know you'll begin to see that you're blessed and that you've got opportunities in front of you, and that the things that are in front of you are greater than the trials and tests and walls and barriers and obstacles that may face you, and that with each thing you face, with the right spirit of perseverance, staying power, and with gratitude, you'll be able to surmount easier than you ever believed. But here today particularly, I truly give thanks to each and every one of you who have supported these simple endeavors of videos and of blogs and of books, and that you've allowed me to impact your life, and I truly, truly give you thanks for it. And as always, I want to wish you money, power, success.